Welcome back to my karting channel. This was Grid Series Round 1. So it was in the GP2 format, so it was a 5-minute practice and then a 15-minute qualifying. But to save up time and just to make sure we could run smoothly, they put the 5-minute practice and qualifying in one session. So it was 5-minute practice, they waved the green flags, then we were doing our qualifying. So those videos will be out in a couple of days time, so you'll be able to see the practice and qualifying. And I actually qualified on pole. My lap wasn't exactly the best of laps, it was a 49.6, so that isn't the best, but it got me on pole. So the lights are going to go green now, and I managed to keep position off the start. As you can see, I went defensive just to cut off any possibilities of overtakes, really, because, well, anything can happen off a race start if anyone gets a better start than me, because I didn't exactly get the best of starts, so I had to go defensive just to cut off any opportunities. But lucky for me, Tom Malaburn and Lewis Brooks behind me both actually had a little battle, so I managed to get a big gap to the karts behind. But I'm convinced there was something wrong with the power on this kart, because it just wouldn't, the acceleration was just slow. We were in speed 3. I think everyone was in speed 3. As you can see, I was signalling to the marshals. It kicked in near the start of the next lap. Again, I was just signalling to the marshal just to get that speed 3 fixed, because I'm meant to be racing in speed 4, which I think kicked in around about now. But yeah, back to what I was saying, I think I had a problem with this kart, because the gap to the karts behind was around 1.5 seconds, maybe even 2 seconds. But within a few laps, I'd been caught up within like a few laps, and a 1 to 2 second gap shouldn't happen within a few laps, because I thought I was driving well, I was driving clean, I was driving, consistently, but the times don't show that. So as I'm looking now, I was setting high 50s into the 51s, so yeah, I'm convinced there was a problem with the car, with the speed maybe, but I don't know, but I had to just move on. So you'll see in a few laps time, Tom Malaburn does get the overtake on me, and you'll be able to see that the gap just increases massively. And with my voiceover, I'll probably just drop in and out every now and again in the race, because it was quite a long race, so I'll be back in a few laps to explain what's going on. So about now is the time that Tom Maliburn's started to catch up with me. He's right on my rear bumper at this point, practically pushing me through some of these corners because my kart was that slow. So I just went defensive, try and cut him off, just try and hold position, because I was just praying that I got black flagged to, because this race you got black flagged to come in and pit. I should have said this at the start, but you had to complete a kart change throughout the race, and because it was quite a busy race, you couldn't choose. They actually black flagged us in, so I got black flagged around halfway through the race, whereas Tom Maliburn got black flagged near the start. As you can see, good dive bomb from him, to be fair. I tried to cut it off, but it just didn't work. And then you can see Lewis Brooks there just trying to get the follow up on the move, but I cut him off as well. And as you can see already, Tom Maliburn's created a massive gap. Like, that was within half, that wasn't even within half, it was within like a corner. And you can see it's just getting bigger and bigger every single straight. So I think there was a problem with my straight line speed, because through the corners I was fine, but along the straights it was just not getting any speed. So I was just praying for that black flag to come out for me, but I was praying for a while because it didn't come out for another 10 minutes or so. As you can see now though, Tom Maliburn's way off in the distance. I have no chance of catching him in this kart, so like I said, I was just praying and praying, hoping for that black flag, because I had no chance of winning the race if I had this kart for the entire race. So I was just in the hairpins, I was probably better than him, but then along the straight you just see this, just look at that gap just increasing. You can just see it increasing and increasing, but in a few laps time he actually pits because he got his black flag. So hopefully I can try and gain some time in the pit stop. As you can see here though, Tom Maliburn's actually caught up to a back marker here, which has really helped me out in terms of the race, because he slowed him down quite a lot. I went defensive there because I can see, you can't see, but you can see him there. Lewis is right on my rear bumper, and you can see Tom Maliburn peels into the pit lane just to do his kart change. So I know this lap's very important for me, because I know I'll be within the next couple laps to pit. So I was just pushing, trying to get some good fast laps in with the kart I had. But my worry was this back marker, just because you can see before he slowed down Tom so much to the point where I was catching up to Tom. So I was just trying to get past as soon as possible, because, well, I've got Lewis right on my bumper. So I was just, as you can see there, I was just getting better hairpins, getting better exits, and I lost a bit of time on the straights, but I'm just looking around for Lewis because I know he's there. I go defensive and then just go out to wide just to try and get the better exit. And I was gaining on him somehow, don't know how, because I had the straight line speed problem, but I was gaining, and through here he broke quite early, and I'm just trying to signal to the marshals to get him out of the way, because, well, I'm in a race here, I'm racing for the win, and I knew I could win. See, I was just getting problems with the back marker. I tried to go for the dive bomb, didn't work, and he's racing me, which as a back marker shouldn't really do, but I don't know whether he knew he was a back marker. So I was just trying to signal to the marshal to just try and give him the blue flag, just to signal to him that he is a back marker. And you'll see, and on the next lap you'll see he gets a blue flag there, but I'm not sure he saw. I gave him a little tap again. I was getting very annoyed this way because I got a tap from behind, and that was Lewis Brooks, the other junior in the category, who I was also fighting for the win. It was between me, Tom, and Lewis. We're the three juniors. You can see the blue flag comes out there, and he instantly moves out of the way. So he knew what the blue flag meant. I just don't think he knew that he was getting lapped. So I'm very happy that the blue flag came out when it did, because any more, I reckon I would have lost the position to Lewis, because he would have capitalised. And that's me getting the board. It said go to the pits, because that's my time to get black flagged. So I do my kart change in a minute. You'll see I get the black flag again here, waved at me, and that means I know I need to drive defensively, because Lewis is right there, and you can't see, but I could see on my helmet. And I signal that I'm pitting, and in the pits I go into the lane, just get out my kart, get my seat insert, quickly get over to the other kart, do my seat. It wasn't the best of pit stops for me, but as you can see, if I look to my right, there's Tom Maliburn behind me. So I'd had a better stop, and I think that back marker didn't help him, but as you can see here, it was like driving on ice. Me and Tom have had the conversation since the race, and we think it was a puncture. Rear left puncture, because when I was turning right I was completely fine, but I was turning left there and I'm sliding everywhere. So Tom's already caught up, I think. I'm not sure if he's caught up at this point, but he's catching, because I just had absolutely no grip, because it was obviously the kart's been sat there for a few laps, obviously losing temperature in the tyres, and well, when I turn left it's just obviously not how it was to see there. Back marker again, slowing down on the racing line, not the best of ideas really, but I managed to get past swiftly. But you'll be able to see here again, just get a snap of oversteer on the exit all the time, because that back tyre just wasn't helping me at all. And you'll be able to see through the rights I'm fine, sort of, but then when I turn left it's just not happening. It just doesn't want to, it just wants to slide, and it was honestly like driving on ice. And that's how I described it at the time, because well, it wasn't doing me a favour really, because I needed to try and get as much time as possible, because I know I had the better pit stop than Tom, because well I've overcut him really, because he pitted before me and I've come out ahead of him when he was in front of me. So I've overcut him, and yeah, I was just pushing on, trying to get as much time as possible, because I know Lewis Brooks will also get the black flags in the next couple laps, indicating his pit and yeah, I'll stop my voiceover now and I'll come back in a few laps. So as you can see here, I'm going into the hairpins, into the combat kart section, and I'm sliding everywhere. Like you'll be able to see here, I'm just sliding through all these corners. I went deep into there, got a bit of a hit from behind. You can see Tom Maliburn's kart there. I had to go defensive. He goes for the move. The door was open. I tried to shut it, but yeah, that was a racing incident, I'd say, because I was fuming at the time because, well, I was racing for obviously the win here, and I wasn't very happy. But now watching it back, he went for the move. I left the door open, so it was just a 50-50 really. He went for the move, I left the door open. If I didn't leave the door open, it wouldn't have happened. So it's a mistake that I made, but I managed to learn from it for next time. And you'll be able to see in a second, I'm still not in a very happy mood because I signalled to the same marshal who was sat there. And as you can see, I'm all over his bumper now, but I'm still sliding around. See, I signalled to him, and I had a bad exit through there, and I just wasn't had my head on properly here. But I put my head down, ignored it, just forgot about it, and tried to push on. But you can see the gap's open again, and I was just sliding around some of these corners like I've never slid around them before. Really, it honestly felt like I was driving. If anyone's been to the opening day at TeamSport Liverpool when you were sliding around the top double right, that's how it felt when I was driving around the left corner. It was honestly, it's just sliding, as you can see there, just trying to correct it, and it just wasn't going to do me any favours in terms of a race. So yeah, I was just putting my head down, trying to just get as much speed as possible. So that back mark you'll have seen's done me a favour really, because Tom Maliburn actually started to create a gap, but he slowed down Tom into me, so it's done me a favour really. So I knew I could just try and keep to his bumper, try and get as much speed along here. And that kart you can see in front of us is Lewis, so he must have had an insane pit stop because he's overcut both of us. So I think me battling with Tom on our out laps, and also a few of the the back markers, I think a few of them haven't helped us really, because we've both come out behind Lewis. So at this point in the championship of Grid Series, I am third, Tom Maliburn second, and Lewis is first. So I just knew if I wanted to try and get as many points as possible for Grid Series, I needed to push on and try and just get those overtakes. There's another back marker letting us past. That was a good place to slow down really, but along there it's difficult if you're coming into a corner. as you can see along here, Lewis in front, telling Tom to work together to push on to try and get as much speed. But in all fairness to Tom, it's a race, so he's not going to want to work together, is he, really, because he knows that I'm behind him. Obviously, he knows that I'm quick, so he obviously doesn't want to lose out on time to me, because if he slowed down and let Lewis push on with him, he knew he was vulnerable to me. So I think really working together in a race, it's not really the best of ideas, but if you obviously pre-organise it before the race, then yeah, fair enough. But this was during the race, and Tom's obviously not wanting to lose as many points because he obviously knew he could win it. So he was pushing on to try and get first, which is fair enough to him. But I was also trying, but it was difficult for me because of my kart problems. 2 kart problems. I even changed my kart as well. Obviously that didn't help. And you can see, look, Lewis, Tom is obviously, he's all over the back of Lewis's bumper here. So he's quicker than him. And he got not the best exit out of there, but he gets a good exit out of here. He got on me because I was sliding everywhere. Especially through these corners there. I was hitting that barrier quite a few times. And it wasn't doing me any favours for a win, really. Because I know I'm quick enough to win. And I've won many times, but, you know, if you've got a kart problem, you've got a kart problem. So we're getting into the final few laps of the race here. My dad was just telling me on the intercom to just stay behind them, put the pressure on, just try and force them into a mistake. And honestly, I felt like the luckiest person in the world at this moment in time. Tom goes for the dive bomb, Lewis doesn't like it, and I get into first. Honestly, it's not obviously the nicest ways of getting into first, but I'll take it. So yeah, and I was just making sure that I'm not definitely speeding under the yellows, because the marshals were being BIKC marshals, like they were giving penalties out for little bumps and stuff. But in that situation, the penalties were cancelled out because I spoke to Liam, one of the instructors and marshals of this race, and he said the contact was cancelled out because Tom obviously made contact with Lewis for the dive bomb, but then Lewis obviously T-boned him, turned him around, and made contact with Tom. So obviously that's just racing. It happens sometimes. The emotions get to your head sometimes. But yeah, I was buzzing at this point because, well, my entire race has just changed because, well, now I'm got quite a big gap to the karts behind, so I know it's my race to lose at this point. If I make any mistakes, it's honestly just my race to lose. So I knew I had the puncture or low pressure or something was wrong with the back tyre. So I was just carefully driving around, a bit like Lewis Hamilton was a couple of years ago at Silverstone with his puncture. I was just doing the exact same, carefully going around the corners, just not making any mistakes. Through here I was just braking early, making sure I didn't get any oversteer, and the yellow flags come out. That's a race win. Obviously it's not the best of race wins I've ever had, but I will take it. It's a race win, and I'm honestly very pleased with it. See there, the marshals waving the flags. I'm just at this point just buzzing because, well, I wasn't expecting it. I was hoping for second at least, hoping just a mistake happened where one of them went wide where I could get through. But yeah, they both obviously made contact, and I won. So I'm currently leading Grid Series from round 1, on 20 points. So make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.